So let's see how it goes, right? Right. So we were discussing this yesterday. Consider the following incomplete Python program. 5, 1, 23, 10 data count length data, which will give you 4 because 1, 2, 3, 4. The total length is 4. And then for I in range data count minus 1. So that goes from, so I told you that in the for loop, if the starting value is not mentioned, it will start from 0. So this will go from 0 to 4 minus 1 is 3, but you know it doesn't go up to the upper boundary, it goes only up to 1 less, so it will move from 0 to 2, right? And then that is the outer loop, and this is the inner loop, which will move from 0 to, because I initially is 0, so this will also be 0 at the beginning in the first loop, and it will go from 0 to data count will be 4, but it goes only up to 1 less than that, so it goes from 0 to 3. Okay, so that's the inner loop, right? And then also I told you that this is where you put the value of data I. Data I will be at the beginning, data I will be data 0. No? Data 0 means this 5, right? So 5 will be put into temp, right? And here, this statement, what happens is this will be swapping the variables, right? So what happens here is the value of data k will be added to data I. Right now, you know data k. Yeah, actually, in the first loop, there's nothing much of a difference because data k will also be 0, right? I mean, 0th position, data 0, because k will also start with I is 0, so it will be 0. It is both data I and data k will be referring to 5. Only in the next loop of the inner loop, it will access 1. So initially it will start from here. K will also start from here. In the next loop, it will access this one, right? So what is actually happening here is what is in K will be put into where I is. Okay, what is in K will be put into where I is, and what is in temp will be put into where K is. Right now in temp we have data I. Okay, so this is basically if you have two numbers, let's say 551. Let me take 51 there. 51. This is basically swapping these two values. So 1 will be here, 5 will be here. Okay, so remember that, right? Remember that, and I saw that most of the papers, right? Okay. Tharana is not there, you know, right? So how do you find the answer for this? Okay, let me now since yesterday one of you asked about the bubble sort, right? This is actually bubble sort, but implemented in a different way, right? So let me briefly explain how this works, right? So normally, what how bubble sort happens is if I take these values 5, 1, 23, 10, 5, 1, 23, 10. Normally, how bubble sort works is it will start comparing these two. Okay, and if you are arranging it in ascending order, you will be checking out. Now, this will be the left number, this will be the right number, right? You will be checking whether the right is greater than the left. Sorry, left is greater than the right. Okay, left is greater than the right. If so, what you do is you will swap these two, right? If this condition is true, we will swap these two, right? So what will happen is 1 will come here, 5 will come here. So generally in bubble sort, what happens is it will not stop here. It will then check this value against this one. Okay, that is after swapping, right? After swapping, it will check this against this. Okay, and then it will look at the same condition. If the left is greater than the right, right now you can see 5 and 23, then it won't change. Then what it'll do is it'll check 23, the next two values. So it goes like that. Now you can see left is greater than right because it's 23 and this is 10. So it will do a swap, right? So you can see that it started from the first value and moved to the last value. Uh, one such operation is called a pass. It's called a pass, right? So after the first pass, you get 1, 5, 10, 23. When the left is greater than the right, there's a swap. So here there was a swap. Then 5 and 23, there's no swap. Then 23 and 10, there's a swap. So we had two swaps. That's one pass. But you see, after the first pass, still it is not in order. No, it's in order. It's in order. It's in order. Right. That's because it was a simple list, right? So sometimes after the first pass, it may not be in order. Then what we do is you go to do another pass, right? So this one pass is done by the inner loop. So you have an outer loop, you have an inner loop, right? So each passes are done by the uh, each pass is done by the outer loop. Okay, inside the pass, checking these numbers will be done by the inner loop. Right? For example, outer loop pass 1, inner loop will continue with all the numbers, right? Then comes back and outer loop pass 2, inner loop will continue to all the numbers. That's the way normally it happens, right? But what they have given here is a different method. Now let me show you how it happens. Okay, so you can see I is 0 first, right? I is 0 first, and then k will also be 0, right? And here there's a check. There's a check where data I will be checked against data k, right? Basically, in the first one, of course, it's looking at the same value, right? If you look at the second value, I mean second loop, right? Inner loop goes to the second loop, right? That's when k becomes 1, right? I is 0, right? K starts with I now. Then initially it's 0. So 0 is same value 5. In the next loop, this k will be 1 because it goes from I to data count, starting from 0 to 3. Okay, so k will be 1. That is this one, 5 and 1. Okay, so here the check will be between 5 and 1. Understand? Right. What happens here is swapping. Okay. What happens here is swapping. Okay. Now, if you read the question carefully, you see which of the following Python statements should be included at the blank line to print the data items in this data structure in ascending order. Ascending order. That means ultimately uh, we need a list like this, right? 1, 5, 10, 23 in ascending order. Okay. So in order to get in ascending order, what should happen? Now you can see the left is greater than the right here. Okay, left is greater than the right. Then you know the right should come to the left and left should go to the right, right? Basically, these two should swap. So that is done by this line and this line swapping. But let's find out what actually happens here, whether that matches. Right now, what is the rule? If you want in ascending order, according to this list, our right should come to the left, left should go to the right. Okay, right now let's see whether this swap does that. Okay, data I. Okay, what will data I be first? Okay, data I will be 5, right? Data I will be 5 in the, that's in the outer loop, right? Because I starts with 0 now. Then k will also start with 0, but first loop is nothing because it's the same value, right? It's 5 again because ki will be 0. In the second loop, ki will be 1. That is, we are looking at 1. Okay, right. And then okay, actually this should be here, right? Right, data I will be 5. 5 will be put into temp. So temp will have 5. Okay. Data k will be yeah, we are looking at 1, right? Data ki will be 1, that is 1. Okay, right. Now what has happened, right? 1 will be going to data I, right? And what is in temp is 5. 5 will be going to data k. Okay, so data I, data I represents the left, right? Data I represents the left. Data k represents the right value. Why? Because when data I becomes 0, data k will become 1 in the second loop. Okay. Now what has happened in the swap? You can see that 1 has gone to the left, that is data I, and what is in temp is 5. 5 has gone to data k. Data k is in the right. Okay, that means where we had 5 and 1 has become 1 and 5. Left and right have been swapped. Okay, so that is correct because we wanted ascending order. Okay, but what is the condition? What is the condition? If you are to solve this in ascending order, the condition should be okay. Now, if you look at the swapping part, this swapping part, we are sure that they have put the right value to the left value to the right. That means 1 to where 5 is, 5 to where 1 is. Okay, right. But what is the condition to do that? Condition should be 5 greater than 1, right? If 5 greater than 1, let us this writing, right? If 5 greater than 1, we should do the swap, right? Then only we will get 1 and 5 in this swapping algorithm. Get it? Right? Now, if it was the other way, will it work? If it was like this, will it work? 5 is not less than 1, so it won't work. Right? We want 1 to come on to the left and 5 to go to the right, right? But this condition won't do that because it is not true. Okay, so it will work only if the left is greater than the right. Okay, so that means the answer will be yes, Rashani. Answer will be this data I. That means on the left side, left is greater than the right. If left is greater than the right, we do the swap. Right? But the way this happens is a bit different, right? As I told you. right? So right, so it takes the first. Now let me show you with the new list. The way it happens is different from the normal bubble sort, right? So this one is clear. It looked at each pair and did the sort until the end of the list, right? And it went through different passes. But this one, right? I starts with 0, and k also starts with 0. Okay. So when I is 0, k will start from 0 and go up to 3. Go up to 3. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Right. So what happens is in the first one, in the first loop, there's not much of a change because k data I is 5, k data k is also 5. It's the same thing, right? Because both are 0. Right? In the next one, what happens is data I will be data I here, right here, right? Data I will be checked against data k. Data I is 5, data k will be 1, right? This will be 1. In the second loop, it will be 1, right? So what are we checking? Data I. Data I greater than data k. This is the condition, right? Right. So data I is 5, data k will be 1. Is that true? It is true. Then what do? We go through the swapping algorithm. So this will be 1, 5. Okay. Then it goes to the next loop. K will, the inner loop, right? Inner loop goes to the next loop. Then what happens? I will be 2. I will be 2. 0, 1, 2. This will be checked against uh, data I. Data I right now is 1. Right? So 1 will be checked against uh, k. K is 2. 2 is data k is 2. So that is 23. 1 against 23. When you put into this condition, it is not true. Left is 1, right is 23. Okay, so no swap, no swap. Then it goes to 3. K is 3 now. Data I is still 1. Right now it's 1 because it's a 0th version. It's 1. Data k is 3. Right, 0, 1, 2, 3. Right. Okay, 3 is 10. So 1 is checked against 10. Right. So 1 greater than 10, which is still not true or false. Data I is 1, which is in the 0th version, right? This is 0, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3 now, right? So data I is 1, data k is 10. So 1 greater than 10, not true. So there's no swap. There's no swap, right? So you can see the inner loop has completed 0 to 3, and there was only one swap, right? So at the end of that, the result will be 1, 5, 23, 23, 10. Okay, understand? That's when I was 0 and k went from 0 to 3. Okay, right now the inner loop is finished. Now it comes to the outer loop. Outer loop now becomes I1 because it goes from 0 to 2. I1. Okay, so this is the 0th position, this is the first position, this is the second, this is the third. Okay, right. Now let's do a small dry run again. Right, k will start from 0, right? Oh, sorry, k will start from I. See, k will start from I. So I will be 1, k will also be 1. Okay, k will also be 1. Why is that? Because here k starts from I. K starts from I, right? Okay, so what is data? These are condition. These are condition. Data I. data is 1, that is we are looking at 5. Okay, right, so we are looking at 5, and what is data k? Data k is also 1, so again we are looking at 5, so no change. In the next inner loop, k will be 2, which is this one. I will be same 1, so data I is data 1, which is 5, and 5 will be checked against data k. Data k will be 2, so 5 will be checked against this. Okay, and is that true? Is the left is greater than right? No, so there's no change, no swap. So it goes to the next inner loop. K will be 3. Okay, I will still be 1, so data I will be 1, which is 5, will be checked against K3, right? Okay, so is there a change? 5 against 10? No, right? Okay, so right, so that is also over, right? Because it should go from whatever the value of I to 3, so the inner loop has finished, so there's no change. Okay, now it goes back to the outer loop again. This time I will be 2. See, I will start from 0 to 2, so I will be 2, right? And k will start from I, which is 2. So when I have free time, you just do another dry run and try to understand, right? It's really good to understand this, right? Okay, right. So I is 2, k is 2. So both are looking at 23, no change. Then k will become 3. In the next inner loop, k will become 3. Now data I is 2, data 2 is 23, and data k is 3, that is 10. So 23 and 10 are compared. Now you know that this is true. Left is greater than the right, so there will be a swap. So what happens is 10 will come here, 23 will come there. Okay, so I has k has finished, because k should go maximum up to 3. So k has finished the loop 2 and 3, and when it comes out to the outer loop, I also has finished because it has gone from 0 to 2. Right now, ultimately we have 1, 5, 10, 23. Oh, right. That was pretty tough, right? And confusing also. So do a dry run like that, and then you will understand, right? Okay. So let me, in brief, tell you how we found the answer here. What we did was we first identified what happens in these two loops. Okay. Then we understood what happens in this swapping algorithm. Right? We came to know that the left is put to the right, right is put to the left. And then we found out that the question is looking for ascending order. Then when you look at the list, you see if it is to be in ascending order, yeah, right should come to the left, left should come to the right. Swapping is fine. But in order to be in ascending order, one should come to the left, and 5 should go to the right. Okay. For that condition to be true, always the left should be greater than the right. Right? If 5 is greater than 1 only, we should do the swap, not otherwise, because we want it in ascending order. Right? So why I explain this now? This is just an MCQ question, and I explained it yesterday and today also. Why I did that, for you to understand this bubble sort concept, because it was there in most of the questions. That's why I explained it. Otherwise, you don't really need to look that detail into this to find the answer. If you just look at the ascending order and then swapping thing, you can easily get the answer. But I wanted to explain how this bubble sort happens, because normally how we do the bubble sort is different from this. Okay, right. Let's move to the next one. Right now, this is another tricky question, right? Uh, Consider the following Python program: data. There's a data structure, a list. Then there's a function, right? Def func a. Look at this one. We looked at this yesterday. I comma c equals 1 comma a 0. Okay, that means one will go to I. This one will go to C in that particular order. Okay, one will go to I, a 0, whatever the value is, will go to C. While I is less than length of a, if a I greater than c, c equals a, I equals I plus 1. So this increment is needed for while loop because it's a while loop, otherwise it doesn't increment, right? And then return c. So what is this thing? This is a subprogram and it is a function. Why is it a function? Because it has a return statement, right? Functions will return the value answer, but procedures won't. There are two types of subprograms. One is a procedure, the other one is a function. The difference is function returns a value, procedure not, right? Which of the following is the output of this program, right? So can you guys, I'll give you like 2 minutes. Can you guys find the answer and tell me why? Or just tell me the answer. Any guesses? If it takes time. Guess करला ना उत्तर लेने बाद exam में क्या? Yeah.
So is A equal to the data list?
A equals to the data. Yeah. Because this is the parameter, right? A is the parameter, and we are passing this data. Data is all these values, right? So what happens is the whole list will be gone to A, and that's why they have used this one A0. So A0 means the first value. Okay, now it's easy. I didn't tell that because then you can pick the answer straight away. Answer is 5, right? Okay, any other answers? Anyone who can challenge that answer? Lucian, are you saying 5 is the answer or 3? 3 is the answer, right? Okay. Any others?
Yes, I'm saying that something three.
What about others?
Because this program is to print the largest number in the list.
Okay. So the largest number is 23, right?
Yes, I said answer number 5.
Right. Answer number 5. Okay. Okay, so here what happens is one will be gone to I, right? And A0 is 5. 5 will be gone to C, right? So while I less than length A is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So I is 1. 1 is less than 5. If AI is A1, which is 1, right? So that's why they have put 5 into C because I starts with 1. Therefore, the first value they have put into C, right? So the first value is checked. So now here, what you should understand is that while loop will go from the first value, not the 0th value, right? First value to len A. Len A is 5, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, 5. Len A is 5, but it goes one less than that because it's less than, it's not equal. So it goes from 1 to 4. That's correct, right? Because 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. That means it's going to take -3 as well. So likewise, you understand what happens in each line, right? So A1, which is 1 greater than 5, not true. So this won't be executed. So then it goes to the next one. 23 greater than 5. Yes. So that 23 will be put into C and it goes to the next one. Then it checks 10 and -3. Okay. So try to understand what happens, and then finally it returns the value of C, right? So the answer is 5, which is 23. It's very important that you understand what happens in the while loop also, right? Because if you don't look at this, it might not be looking at all the numbers. If condition is not true. Okay, so if you don't look at how I changes here, where I starts and where it ends, be careful. It might not look at all the data items, right? The first swaps, first swap. Okay, so I is 1, 1 is less than 5. If AI, which is this one, 1 is greater than C, yeah. Yeah, in the first loop, it's not true, right? Because the AI is 1, 1 is greater than 5. Not true, so it goes and increment, and it goes to the second one, right? Then I will be 2. 2 will be 0, 1, 2. 2 will be compared with the current value of C, which is 5. Then it does the swap, right? Okay, take a look at this one. F1 open input text R for reading, F2 open output text for writing. One more thing, right? One more thing here. What you should understand is you can pass the whole array to a function. That's what one of you asked. You can pass all these values as an array to the function. That's what has happened here, right? When you call it like that, and you can call the function in the print command itself, and the function is called passing the whole array, and it will return the value, right? Okay, this one F1 open input text in read mode, F2 open output text in write mode, line F1 read line, so it will read line by line in F1, while there are lines, as long as there are lines, it will strip uh, and split the words using the comma. When there are commas, it will split. So take a look at this input text file. When there's a comma, it will split and take it and put it into an array. We saw this yesterday also, and it will create an array. So data will be an array, right? Splitting from commas, right? Then total equals float data 1. So this will be an array. Now if you put this one, what happens is Nimal 30 Nimal Nimal 30 and 60 will be gone to an array like this. Okay, so this will be in the 0th position, this will be in the first position, this will be in the second position, right? And the array name is data. So what happens here is data 1. Data 1 will be this, and data 2 will be this. And notice that it is converted into float, right? And both of them will be added together, which is total. And then you write to the second file in this particular format. See this one, which we looked at back then, the formatting, output formatting, right? So here data 0 will go here, okay, and data 1 will go here in the second placeholder. These are actually placeholders, right? And data 2 will go to the third placeholder, and total will go to the last placeholder, right? And then it will go and read the second line, that is Haman and Upali, right? And then after all, we close the two files, right? So what should be the answer? And here notice that there's a line break as well. What should be the answer? Here, what you should notice is that they have used float, and there's an escape character which is \n. Yeah, answer is 4. Very good. Right? Because \n, it should go to the next line. Because of float, it should display the total as a real number. Clear? Right. I think yesterday someone asked why um, can't we split from a particular. Yeah, can't we split certain. What was it? It sounded like can't be split after the second space or something, right? Well, I kind of went through it. Uh, there's an option called there's an optional parameter that we can pass. Like look at this one, right? A B C D E F G data alphabet split from the space 2 split by first two white spaces. Okay, so what happens there is it will look at this white space and this white space, and ultimately this will be put into an array, right? So it will create the array like this. Data, right? First value will be A because it looks at the first space split by first two. So what you do is you, after the splitting character, you put command put 2 that will look at three spaces, right? So A will be taken as a value, then B will be taken as a value, first two, no? After that the rest will be taken as another value, that is C D E F G. The whole thing will be another value. Okay, so there are only three values. This is the 0th person, this is the first person, this is the second person. Okay, so that is possible, but you can see that still it divides from the very first value. I think yesterday one of you asked whether we can start splitting from a particular value. I couldn't find a solution for that, but this is there. And this what happens is it will start splitting by a certain number. Not by a certain number. It will start splitting a certain number of characters that we give, or the spaces that we give. Right? And then the rest will be taken as one whole value. So it looked at the first two spaces and the rest as a separate value. Okay. Right. So let's look at another paper. What is the result of evaluating Python expression 10 percentage 3? Answer number 2. Answer is 1. Yes, good. Because percentage is modular, so 3 into 3 is 9, and the remainder is 1, right? Okay. What about this one? Total equals 0. For count equals 1 to 10. If count is odd, then total equals total plus count. Next count, display total. Count 1 to 10. If count is odd, then add it to total. Number 4, yes, very good. Yeah, so basically what happens here is it will look at all the odd numbers from 1 to 10 and add them up, right, and give the total. So 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. If anyone needs explanation, let me know, right? Yeah, what about this one? What flow control structures are used in the flow chart? Well, that's easy. We have the sequence, we have the selection, and we have an iteration as well, right? So it's the last one, sequence, selection, and iteration. Which of the following statements about the algorithm represent Next session, of course, I will let you know, right? I will let you know because I'm going to be really busy with the school of the next couple of days. I need to plan it out. But I have asked one of my colleagues to conduct a database session for you. Anyway, I'll come up with another session with a different section, right? Definitely. But it'll take a little bit of time, right? Not so immediately, right? Which of the following statements about the algorithm represented by this flowchart is correct if the user inputs value 6? Okay, so again, you check all the statements, right? Value of I, user inputs, input a positive integer. If user inputs 6, right, it stops when the value of I equals to 6. Input a positive integer, he enters 6, I is 1, I is less than or equal to 6. So you can see that it goes yes. When it is less than or equal to x, it goes yes. That means 6, right? I is 6, value is, he enters 6. When 6 equals to 6, still it goes. So it doesn't stop, right? What do you think? If you don't agree, let me know, right? Or if you are confused, let me know. If you think it's wrong, let me know. Right? User enters 6. I starts with 1. Okay. You can see in the loop, I will be incremented by 1 by 1. So when at one time I will be 6, 6 is less than or equal to 6, still it goes. It won't stop. It stops when the value of I is equal to 6. That's wrong, right? It prints the value 4 as one of its outputs. What happens here is okay, so 6 is taken, 6 is divided by each number from 1 to that value. This is same as what I gave you as a homework, finding out the devices of a particular number, right? So 6 will be divided by 1, 2, 3, 4 like that, and then it prints 4 as one of its inputs. What happens is if the remainder is 0, yes, it will print I. It will print I, right? So x will be divided by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If x is 6, it will be divided by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So if I is 4, that means it has to be divided by 4, right? So when 6 is divided by 4, do we get 0 as the remainder? No. So this is also wrong, right? Yes. It prints value 2 as one of its outputs. That means I is 2. When you divide 6 by 2, yes, the remainder will be 0. Right? So this is correct. It prints all integers from 1 to 6. No, it is printing only the devices. It prints all the integers from 1 to 5. No, again, not the integers but the devices, right? So the answer is 3. Okay, so everyone is clear, right? It is actually it is actually printing all the devices of 6, right? 1 to that particular number. Right. What about this one? Consider the following assignment statements: A, comma B, Nimal 30. A equals true. A, comma B equals 1. A equals true. C A equals B equals 1. Which are the above syntactically correct Python statements? What about A? Is it correct? That is correct, right? Because we can assign uh, two values for two variables like this without having in separate lines, right? A equals to, this is also correct because T is capital, right? Um, B, is it true? Is it correct? It is wrong because two variables are there, then you should have two values, right? A equals true, this is wrong because it's not capital T, right? What about C? Is it correct? C is also correct, right? So the answer is A, C, and D. That's this one, right? So remember to look at each and every point before selecting the answer. Don't pick the answer straight away, right? Okay, look at all the answers and check and reason. Always check why, right? Right. Consider the following statements about Python data types. A tuple consists of ordered number of values separated by commas. The tuples we looked at only lists, so let me show you a tuple. Here we go. So you can see uh, it's separated by comma, and normally what we use is the parenthesis, right? So that is correct. And then a dictionary comprises of an ordered, unordered set of key value pairs separated by commas enclosed within bracket. There's a key and a value separated by commas enclosed in curly brackets. Okay, so if you look at, let me show you. Here's a dictionary. You can see the bracket. You can see the curly bracket, and you can see the key. This is the key, and this is the value, right? Key value, key value, right? And if you're accessing values, you have to access with the key. For example, if you use the name of the dictionary and the key, it will give the value. That's how it happens, right? Okay. So that's also correct. A value in a tuple can be modified as a value in a tuple can be modified as in a dictionary. Yeah. So what about the last one? A value in tuple can be modified as a dictionary. Now you know you have heard about this mutable and immutable thing, right? So mutable is like once you define it in the program, you can change the structure and the data in it. So lists are mutable, right? But dictionaries and tuples are immutable. So this statement says a value in a tuple can be modified as in a dictionary. So it cannot be modified. Right? Once it is defined, it cannot be modified because it's immutable. So mutable is like I think it's something like the mutation. Like once it is defined, the structure can be changed. Mutation, mutable. Immutable means it cannot be changed. So this statement is wrong, right? Because tuples and dictionaries are immutable objects. So that is related to this. It goes deep down to memory allocations, right? This mutable, immutable thing. So list, of course, yes. Once the object is defined, it can be changed. but not the tuple and the dictionary. Uh, what's the exact meaning of ordered number? Yeah, does it mean numerical order? No, it's actually it's like this tuple, uh, tuple and list is an ordered list. They are ordered in the sense like we'll be accessing values based on the position, based on the index 0, 1, 2, like that. Okay, but this is unordered because you can straight away bring it from wherever you want because of the key. You can call the value from the key. We don't mind the index.
Okay, sir.
Okay, that's why did you notice that in this example here, can you see physics is there, chemistry is there, then 1997 is there, 200 is there, right? See, both the tuples and the lists are using index. So index is an ordered number. No? That's why they are saying ordered, not really the values. Okay, but here it's unordered because you don't really even if you put it into a uh, loop, you don't need to check one by one because there's a key. The using the key, you can bring it from anywhere, right? Okay, so the answer is A and B only, right? This one. Let's take this one. Which of the following Python program is syntactically correct? Okay, check everyone. Check everything, right? So for I in range, sorry, for I in. Now see, instead of the range, they have directly put the list. That is also correct, right? You can put the list into a variable, and then you can put for I in that variable, or you can put the whole list in the for statement. So what is wrong here? There's no indentation, right? There's no indentation. So this is wrong. What about this? This is also wrong because there's no colon here, right? And okay, what about this one? Why is this wrong? Why is this wrong? Yeah, tell me why this is wrong. Off, office music. Mm-hmm. Comma is not there. Not off. Ah, right. This one here.
Oh,
Not there. Okay. Now also there will be a problem here, no? Because see, 9 and 11, not 9. Well, here, yeah, 9 is a text here, and it won't be multiplied. And here there's a mistake, right? Okay, and what is 5 correct or 3 correct? Is it 5 or 3? 5.
5.
5. Why did you notice that there's a colon here? It can't be right.
So, so in the third answer, in the
Third,
print
what is the?
statement,
Mm-hmm. Ah, this one.
only single quote. Yeah.
That's interesting. Take away this. That's fine. I put colon. Syntax error. So yeah, this is also wrong, no? But here they haven't forgotten that, no? That apostrophe they haven't forgotten. Here it's not there. So looks like all are wrong, no? What do you think?
Yeah, all are wrong.
Okay, so when you have time, just type this and see from this and see, right? Maybe they forgotten to take this off. I don't know, right? Well, in these papers, sometimes I have seen there are wrong questions. Yeah, might be a printing error. Yes. Okay, here comes the same thing, right? Here comes the same thing. That bubble sort thing. Right, this time not numbers but letters, I mean words. So when there are words, what it will do is it will actually look at the alphabetical order, right? And here it says reverse alphabetical order. So reverse alphabetical order means reverse alphabetical order means Z to A, right? Correct. Right. Now, see, I'm not going to explain how this works, right? Because I explained it. Can you guys hear me? Yes. Okay. So I'm not going to explain this because that's what I did at the start, right? I explained this whole thing, right? And do you see that they have done a small improvement to this? They have added one to this, right? I told you, no, in the previous one, I will be 0. When I is 0, k will also be 0, right? K will also be 0, right? So that means both data I and ki will be referring to the same value. And I told you that there's no point in that, right? So looks like these people have been really smart to improve this, and they have put 1 here. So now what happens is 0 will be compared with the first value. 0th value will be compared with the first value. In the previous one, they were comparing 0th one with the 0th one, and that was an additional step which was not really needed. So they have improved it in this one, right? Because this comes after 1 year. Previous one was 2011. So they have put 1 here. Okay, that's okay. So this has to be in reverse alphabetical. That means Z to A. Now, if you take the first one, now you see I is going to be 0, right, at the beginning. That means I is going to check this one. Come on, right? K will be 0 plus 1. That is 1. K will be looking at this. Okay, and you know here what happens is the swapping. This part is swapping. And also, do you notice that they haven't used the temp variable? So it's a major improvement, right? So k goes to I. Now you know that k, this will be k, this will be k, and this will be I. K is the right side, I is the left side. So you can see here what happens is the right side goes to the left side, and the left side goes to right side. Okay, so right side goes to the left side. Okay, that means one comes to the left side, Kamal goes to the right side. That is the order we want, right? Because R K means descending order. So then what is the condition? If we are to put the right to the left and left to the right, what should be the condition? See, that's how we find the answer here. They want it in descending order, that means Z to A, right? And then you look at the swapping algorithm. Swapping algorithm shows, okay, first of all, you look at the two values, right? I is starting with 0 because they haven't mentioned the starting value, so it's going to be 0. So I is going to be 0, K is going to be 0 plus 1, so 1, okay? So Kamal will be checked against 1, left and right. So what has happened in the swapping algorithm is they have put the right to the left and left to the right. In order to put Ruan to the left, that is the exact order we want. Okay, so in order to do that, what should be the condition? Condition should be this, right? Right side should be greater than the left side. That means R should be greater than K. If so, what we do is we put the right to the left, left to the right. That means Ruan comes first, Kamal goes second. Did others understand? Anyone who is confused? Okay, Lucian is confused, right? Okay, so let me explain again, right? Now, Lucian, do you understand how this algorithm works, this bubble sort works, which I explained earlier, that you understand now, right? Okay, so here, this is how you should look at the question, right? I is going to be 0. That's true, no? Outer loop is going to start with 0 because when we don't specify a starting value, it's always 0. Okay, so 0th location is this. This is 0. This is 1. Okay, this is a structure array. Right. K is going to start with 1. 0 plus 1. That's an improvement from the previous one. So K will be this. I will be this. Okay. In the initial loop, we just have to look at only the initial one, right? Okay. That's so. This will be K. This will be I. Okay. Right. Now, if you look at the swapping algorithm, you can see K is the right now. K is on the right. Right. K is put into I. I is on the left. So what is in K is put into I. In other words, what is in right is put into left. ඒ කියන්නේ රුවන් ඉන්නේ right එකේ කමල් ඉන්නේ left එකේ රුවන් දාන left එකට කමල් දාන right එකට. That's what has happened. Right? What is in the left they have put into right. Okay. So if that happens, that means Ruwan is going to come first, Kamal is going to come second. That means it's going to be R and then K. Right? Isn't that the order we want? It says reverse alphabetical order. So R, K, that is Z to A. Okay. If this is to happen, what should be the condition? ඒ කියන්නේ මේ swap එක වෙන්න නම් මොකද්ද condition එක වෙන්න ඕනේ? ඒ කියන්නේ right has to be larger than the left. That is this one. This is left, this is right. Right? If the right is larger than the left, then what do? We put the right to the left, left to the right, left to the right. In fact, I think all are wrong, right? Because now here 4, of course, they have put this comma. See, here also they have put comma. But actually, in the if condition, what we should have is colon, right? So it looks like they have missed the colon. Yeah, exactly. Right. So don't worry, if there are mistakes like that, you will get marks. Okay, this one. That's a function. So I think it's better you do all the other questions except Python first in the MCQ, and you practice as much as possible and be really confident and take the essay Python question because it's actually easy, right? If you get hold of this, it's really easy. So that's a chance where you can score rather than leaving it out. And here in the MCQ, I think it's better you finish all the other questions and start the Python question, because some time will be taken for this, right? Because if you take all the Python questions together, well, they are looking at the ASCII value, right? A starts with 65 now, right? Then when it goes to Z, it will be a higher value, right? So they actually, like, although they are sorting it in ascending, descending order, alphabetical and reverse alphabetical order, they're actually looking at the ASCII value of the first letter. That happens behind. What we see is the alphabetical ordering. Okay, so remember yesterday we saw capital A was 65, then B is 66. Then when it comes to Z, it will be a higher value, right? So that's why here we looked at right is greater than left. Okay, right. So why I suggest that you take all the Python questions at once, because Python questions need thinking, logical thinking, and that's why they have actually put them in order. Towards the end, they have put all the Python question in order, so that you can train your mind, focus your mind to that, rather than jump in between different areas, right? So I think it's better you quickly finish the other questions and then spend more time on the Python questions, right? Define function I, C, J, I, A0. Again, a similar question. Now we are passing an array. While I is less than A, if AI is greater than C, C equals I, right? So you can see that they have put the first value into C in the list. They are passing the list. First value they have put into C, and that value is checked against all the other values, and it goes len A is 1 2 3 4 5. It goes till 4, 0 1 2 3 4. That means it's checking all the values, right? And they have used J equals I. J equals I. Okay, so I will be the index. So they put the index into J, and then this will be the increment that will go through all the values, right? And then they are returning J. So remember, they are not returning C, they are returning J, right? So again, if you look at the algorithm, you see that it is going to look at the uh, largest value in the list, and largest value is 23. In the earlier question, it returned 23, but this time it is returning only the index. And when we come across the largest value, we put the index of it into J, and we are returning J. So 23 is in, this is 0, this is 1, and this is 2. So the index is going to be 2. So the answer is 2. Okay. Others, did you understand? Right. See, there's a similarity, in these questions. I mean, see, similar questions come, but slightly changed, right? Okay, this will probably be our last question. Yeah. So if you closely look at this, normally the last question is a bit difficult. No? F1 open input text in read mode, then open output text in write mode. For line in F1, strip, we are stripping it with the comma, and then we are looking at data 1. So data 0 will be this, right? 0, I told you, no, this will be put into to an array. So this will be 0 index, this will be 1, this will be 2, right? So what happens is data 1 and data 2 will be added in floating point. 30 and 60 will be added. And then this writing format. Now I will share you some links that I referred. In one of the links, they introduce these different formattings, right? So for right now, of course, I'm not going to explain that, but I'll tell what happens in this. But I'll share that link with you. So go through that, right? So looks like they are testing you with these different formattings as well, right? Okay. Now one thing is there's a escape sequence which is \n, so it can't be number 5, right? And since it's float, it can't be well, it can't be number 1. Just analyze it.
So only 3 is in float, right?
Only 3 is in float, but the thing is, like, we need to look at this formatting, right? It all happens in that formatting. Yeah. And that's really tricky, this question. 3 is the answer. Manusha, why do you say 3 is the answer? Yeah, that's right. Total comes in the floating point, right? But again, everything depends on how we output it, right? So this is the trick. Here's the trick. Okay, right. So thing is here is D, right? Right. So here, remember, this D represents integers, right? If it is floating point, if it is like this, they should have F there. So I'll share a link about this, right? Because it's important you go through this, right? So here, what it means is there'll be four characters, which can be spaces or special characters and even numbers. Altogether, four placeholders. Okay. So if you look at the answer is actually this one. If you look at this one after the dash, you can see we have a space here. Okay, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have four placeholders for either numbers or uh, characters or spaces, right? And since it's D, it should be integers. It's integers, right? Now here, what happens is there are 7 placeholders altogether, which includes characters, string, right? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. With the hyphen, there are 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so it's really tricky. Yeah, it's really tricky. I think in the previous one we saw it was only float, and the output was also float. But here the trick is this D thing, right? Clear? Right. So I'll share that link. I'll share all these links, and it's important that you go through, right? Now you can see that these are not really difficult, right? Although there are so many lines of codes here, the answer lies in a small part. So I think it's mainly the practice. If you practice as much as possible, this is not a big deal. Let me see whether I can show you. Yes, there is string. It's looking at string characters. S for string, D for integer, and F for floating point. This same format is used in C language. In C language also, when you are outputting a floating point number, you have to put percentage F. If you are putting outputting an integer, you have to put better Python questions. Yeah. I noticed that in the 2019 paper, they have asked you to write a Python code. Develop a Python program to implement the algorithm expressed by the flowchart. So it looks like, and the question is much more easier. So it looks like they have brought the standard down, but they have asked you to write the code. Okay, I'll give you a. Well, let's look at this one first, right? The essay question. Let me look at this one. So this is 2019 fourth question. The ICT teacher in a school needs to process the marks obtained by all the students in a class for the ICT subject and compute the average marks for the class. Construct a flowchart to express an algorithm for this purpose. Assume that the first input is the number of students in the class n. Next, the marks of n students will be input one by one. So that's easy enough, right? What are the things you have to consider? We are entering all the students in the class for ICT subject. Compute the average. So in order to compute the average, we need the total, right? We need the total. Construct a flowchart to express the algorithm for this purpose. Assume that the first input is the number of students in the class. All right. So he is entering the number of students as well. So if the number of students is 50 or 100, it should run that amount of times. Okay. So these are the ways we analyze this, right? And then it should continue. Like let's say you ask the user to enter in, and then you start a counter from 1 all the way up to n. So they want the flowchart, no? So something like this. So you can put I less than or equal to n. Sorry, counter is less than or equal to n. Yes, you continue. What do you continue? Enter marks, enter student marks, right? And then once he enters, you have to put it to total. So there should be a variable called total. Total equals 0, right? Then total equals total plus marks, and then it goes back and checks whether the count is less than or equal to n, right? And yeah, when count exceeds n, let's say we are entering for 50 students, and when the counter becomes 51, it exits, and then we have to take the total and divide by 50, right? Divide by 50. So you can divide by n straight away, because n is the number of students we want to enter, right? And put out the average. So that's pretty easy. This is pretty easy, right? Consider, compared to previous year's papers, consider the flowchart given below. Note that yeah, modulus. See, even this they have told you that percentage is mod. So input n, a equals 0 is n is less than or equal to 0. no input x is x modulo 2 equals 0, yes, then there's a counter, n equals n minus 1, and it goes back, right? When does this stop? What is the value of n when it stops?
When the user enters a minus value,
When the user enters a minus value. Yeah, it's this one. This is the loop now, which controls. Right? This is the loop which goes, right. So here the loop will continue uh, as long as n value is greater than 0, right? N value is greater than, so for example, n5, if it is n, if n5, right, is n less than or equal to 0, equal also there, no? Right. So what happens is n is deducted one by one. So this goes 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then 0, right? When it is 0 or less than 0, it will go this way. Right? Is n less than or equal to 0? Lucian, what do you think? Is it minus 1 or 0? 0, right? Yeah. Less than or equal to 0, yes, no? So when it becomes 0, it goes this way. Right? So ultimately what has happened is we have entered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 numbers, no? Because this is actually a counter. N is actually a counter 5 times, right? 5 times you are entering x, and then we are checking whether x is actually modulus 2, means we are checking whether it's an even number, right? It checks whether it's an even number. If it is an even number, it will increase the even count. If it is no, it will just go and ask for the next number, right? If we analyze, right? What would be the output if the first input n was 6 and the next inputs were 3, 6, 4, 12, 11, 9? Now, first of all, you have to check whether it is taking all the 6 values. We are entering n as 6 now. That means we should enter 6 numbers now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, that's correct. Okay. Second thing is none of the values are having 0. Sorry, sir. No. Uh, 6 n is 6 and we are entering 6 values. That's fine. Okay. And here only the even numbers will be counted. Right. So one here, another here. Right. So what would be the output if the first input was 6 and the next inputs were these? So what are we outputting? We are outputting the number, total number of even numbers, right? Yeah. So the result is 3, right? Agree? Do you agree? We have 3 even numbers. Do you agree with that, or bit confused? Oh, a bit confused. Okay. What would be the output if the first input n is 6? 6 now he enters 6. Okay, input is 6. Okay, so now you know 6 is not less than or equal to 0. By the way, with this dry run, we know that it goes from that n to n down to 1. So 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right? It won't go up to 0. 0 means exit. So how many numbers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 numbers. So first thing is check whether we are entering 6 numbers. Now these numbers are x values, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, we are entering 6 numbers. That's fine. Okay. Now what is actually happening? Each number is checked whether it is an even number. So when 3 is input as the count, now here actually the counter is counting down. That's why it's a bit confusing. It's not counting up, right? As the sixth number when he enters, okay, that will be confusing. Okay, so when n is 6, you'll be entering number 3, right? Number 3. So number 3 modulo 2 equals 0. No, so it goes this way and it goes to n 5, and then we enter 6 as x. 6 modulo 2 is 0. Yes, then the a count is incremented by 1, which is the even count. Okay, and then again n is deducted by 1. So when n is 4, we enter number 4 as x, and x modulo 2 is 0. Yes, again the count is incremented, and then it goes n down to 3, and then we enter 12. 12 modulo 2 equals 0. Yes, it's an even number, so it increases the even count. N is down to 2 now, right? And then we enter x, which is 11. Next number, 11 modulo 2 is 0. No, it goes and deduct n by 1. So now n is 1. We input the last digit, which is 9. 9 is also not even, so it goes this way, and then n becomes 0. Now when n becomes 0, it goes this way and exit. Outputs the total number of even numbers. Simple. This is way simple than the previous years, right? So looks like now 2019 they released they amended the syllabus, right? 2017 it was there. 2019 I think they amended. So looks like it's much more easier now. Okay, but tricky, yeah, tricky. What is the purpose of this algorithm? Right now it's easy. See, if you analyze only, you can really get it right. And if you do it at the beginning, then it's easy for the whole question. නැත්නම් දැන් ආයෙ හිතන්න වෙනවා මොකද්ද මේ program එක වෙන්නේ කියලා. Right. The purpose is now purpose when you're writing the purpose is a bit tricky because we are setting the n. We are setting the n. So you have to say user enters. User first set a set of random numbers, right? That is n. User ඉස්සෙල්ලම කියනවා මම enter කරන්න යන්නේ 100 numbers. එහෙම නැත්නම් මම enter කරන්න යන්නේ 10 numbers කියලා. So user first set the total number, set the number of values that he is going to enter, comma n, within brackets n. Then the program will ask the user to enter each number, each value, and it will count total number of even numbers he has entered. Okay, again, first the user sets the number of values that he is going to enter within brackets n. Then the program will check how many even numbers are there in the numbers he enters and output the total number of even numbers. Output how many even numbers were there. ඕක දැන් examiner confusion එක පුරාණ අපි ලියන විදිහට I think එයාව confuse කරන්න නැති වෙන පොඩි example එකකුත් දෙන්න. For example, right? Take a look at question number 1 කිව්වනම් හරි. හරි. 1 එක example එකක් තමයි. He sets 6 and he enters 6 random numbers and it counts the even numbers as 3 and it outputs. Simple. Now, when I ready, develop a Python program to implement the algorithm expressed by the flowchart. So, develop keyword and make a practical karanda bani. So, I think they want us to write it, right? Okay, so just think about, just try to visualize how we are going to write it. Just kind of visualize how we are going to write it. It's easy because the flowchart is given. This is the program. So let's try out with these values that they are given. Three, 6, 4, 12, 11. Oh, I should have entered 6 there. First, I had to specify how many numbers I'm going to enter, right? 6. Okay, so 3, 6, 4, 12, 11, 9. You entered 3 even numbers. Okay, so let me explain the code. Right, so see how we map this, right? Input 10, so that's this one. Input 10. Enter how many numbers to input. A equals 0. A equals 0. Right. Now this is put into a while loop, right? Now, while loop because here we check is n is less than or equal to 0. No, this is like repeat until. Until this is true, we continue. True, but when you put it to while loop, it's slightly different. So how do you put it? While is as long as, no? Yeah, sure. I'll send. I'll send the mark scheme later on. You first do the paper and then be ready, and then I'll send the mark scheme. So while as long as n is greater than 0. Correct, na? Right, we should continue this as long as n is greater than 0, because the n is always according to this program, n is going to be greater than 0. When it is 0, it should exit. So that's why we put as long as n is greater than 0. Okay, as long as n is greater than 0. Right, what should you do? You should ask the input x input, and then you do the modulus. If x modulo 2 equals 0, a equals a plus 1. Right, then we do a countdown. The counter is actually counting down n minus n equals n minus 1. Right? So look at the indentation, right? And then after exiting the loop, we print you entered a. A is the total number of even numbers, and then you put the text even numbers. So this is concatenation. Understand? So don't get mixed up with this, right? Although here it says is n is less than or equal to 0, that is the flowchart. But you know that whether it is a flowchart or the actual program, you should continue this as long as n is greater than 0. When n becomes 0, we should exit. That's why we put as long as n greater than 0. Clear? Okay. This is 2019 the MCQ paper. This we'll finish it off with this these questions, right? With these few questions, right? I consider the following flowchart. Flowchart 40 to 40 40 to 42, right? Start I is 8, result is 1, input n is n less than or equal to 0. Yes. Go and minus I. If not, if n is greater than 0, result equals result into n. Result equals result into n. Okay, right. And then is I less than 0, less than or equal to 0, I 0, you output the result, otherwise you go back. And you can see that again, before you start answering, you analyze this, right? Yeah, sure. I'll send you links for Python, right? Okay. Actually, I'll send all these folders, right? That I use for this session. So I starts with 8. Okay, and here I is deducted one by one. Right, you enter a number. As long as that number is greater than 0, you go on multiplying. Okay, whether you do that or not, whether that number is a 0 or a minus value, more a positive or a value greater than 0, you deduct one by one by I from I. So this becomes 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and ultimately 1. When it becomes 0, it exits. Okay, so how many times it has gone? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 times. Okay, 8 times it is taking this number. Okay, and if that number is greater than 0, yeah, you multiply the result by n. Now, for example, as the first one, if I am entering 5, what will happen is this 1 will be multiplied by 5 and put that result into that multiplication result into this. So this will be 5. Okay. In the next one, if I am entering 4, it goes this way, and it will take the current result and multiply by 4. Right? These two will be multiplied, and 20 will be put into this. Right? So basically, it is taking the multiplication of all the numbers that I enter more than 0. It goes on multiplying the numbers, right? Okay, now let's try to answer. It takes 8 inputs. Is that true? Yes, this is correct. It outputs the product of positive numbers in the input. True or false? It outputs the product of positive numbers in the input. Yes, it is true, right? Because this was not plus now. This was not plus. So it is multiplying all the numbers that I entered. So it is also true. If every input is 0, then output will be 0. If it is 0, it outputs the result, right? Yeah. result will not be uh, 0 anyway, because if it is 0, it goes here, right? So this is wrong. So the answer is this. Okay, right. If the following is fed as the input to the algorithm, what will be the output? So now you know, by now you know that it is multiplying all the positive values, right? So this will be multiplied by this, and then this, this. Okay. Tinggal देखा है रख दो इसी तरह भाग kasi 120, right? Check whether we have 8 numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now at the are, so it won't consider this. Yeah. Tricky. Now, instead of -1, if they had put, let's say, 4 or something, you might mistakenly multiply that also, no? Right? But this will take only 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Not this one. Okay, right. Same functionality. Which of the following programs have the same functionality, same output for the given input as the algorithm in the flowchart above? What about the first one? I is 8, result is 1, while I is greater than 0. Now you know that when I is 0, it should exit, right? Input a number. If number is greater than 0, then multiply I minus 1. That's inside the while loop, and print the result. This is correct, right? Okay, what about the second one? Result is 1 for I. This time we have used for loop. I in range 8. So now you know that it goes from 0 to, it won't go up to the maximum boundary. It goes only up to 7. 0 to 7. 0 to 7 means 8. 8 times, right? We want 8 numbers, no? We want 8 numbers to be added. So this is correct, right? This, up to now it's correct. 0 to 7. When you don't specify the lower boundary, it starts with 0. And it goes 1 less than the upper boundary. Okay? So 0 to 7, that means 8 numbers. Input the number. If the number is greater than 0, multiply, print the result. What do you think? That is correct. Good. That is correct. So the concept is we need to accept 8 numbers. Simple as that. So it can be implemented like this, starting from 8 all the way down to 1. Or it can start from 0 and go up to 7. Take a look at this one. I equals 8 while actually this should be I, okay? While I. While I went on a mistake here. While I means it will start from 8. I is 8, no? So it will start from 8. Input the number if not n less than or equal to 0. N less than or equal to 0 means minus value. Not means positive value. Not of this. N less than equal to 0 not. That means 1 and above. Not of this. Okay. Yeah. If that is true, we multiply. Then I equals I minus 1. That means this 8 will be 7. And then if I less than or equal to 0, we break. If it is a minus value or 0, we break and print the result. Yes, well done. It is also correct. So the answer is this. Okay, did others understand? Right. So here the thing is there is a printing mistake. This should be I. So when they put while I, that means it starts with 8. It may be a new thing you are learning. It will start from the value, that particular value, and then again we are going down from 8 to 1. When it is 0, we break the loop. Okay. So the new syllabus looks pretty easy, but tricky as well. What is the value of the following? Right now here, what happens is this, right? First, the brackets will be executed, calculated. Now, this is the integer division. This double forward slash is the integer division, right? So 100 divided by 3, 33 point something comes. So we take only the integer part. So this will give 33. Okay, integer division. And then comes the modulus 4. So when you put this into modulus 4, it is the remainder, right? So 4 into 8 is 32, right? 4 into 8 is 32, and the remainder is 1. Right? And then comes this one. What is this thing? What do you call this? It is the pipe sign. What is that? Lucian, what is that? Yeah, it is plus, but what plus is that? Normally the plus is this, no? Or what is this plus? Lucian? Okay, which O? Which O? If you just put O there, then it will be an evaluation, no? This O that. But this one is called bitwise O. Bitwise O. That means it's a binary O operation, not the integer, but the binary O operation, right? So let me show you how it comes, right? So here it's 1. This side is 1, right? So it's 1. Then it's called bitwise O. This pipe. Have you learned about bitwise operations? Bitwise O. Have you learned about bitwise operation? And on this side it's 8. Okay, right. So when you do bitwise O, what you do is you first, yeah, it's actually addition, but in bitwise, we have to convert this into bits. right? Now you know this side is 8, right? How does the bit positions go? It starts with 1 in binary. It's 1, then it's 2, 4, 8. That's how it goes now. This is 2 to the power 0. This is 2 to the power 1. This is 2 to the power 2. This is 2 to the power 3. Okay, right. So you see that 8, if you represent 8 in binary, it is 1. We have 1 8. We have 1 8, and now this will be 0, right? Okay, that's 8. 8 in binary. And then how do you represent 1 in binary? It will be 1. There's only one ones, and then the rest will be 0, right? So bitwise O. Hold on, what's happening? Okay, so uh, right. So bitwise O means we do the O operation, O gate. We put the O gate for these bits. We put the O gate for these bits, right? Now O gate, how does it behave? Uh, you have 0 0 1 1 0 1 0 1. We have the inputs now. We have the inputs like this, right? Okay. We have the inputs like this. So the O gate, the result will be, if you look at the result, even if one input is true, the result is 1. 1. Even if both inputs are true, the result is 1. This is how the O gate behaves now. So we put this O operation on these bits. That's what bit wise O means. Okay. So simply it's an addition. So here it's 1, 0, 0, 1. Now what is this value? This is 1, this is 2, this is 4. These are the positional values, right? And this is 8. So there's 1 8, 1 1s. Total is 9. Okay. Yeah, so the answer is 9. Division 3, modulus 4, bitwise 8. You get 9. Clear? Right. So I'll share some links about bitwise operations as well, because we have bitwise and as well, right? Okay, so now I'm feeling hungry, so let's quickly finish this, right? Okay, so what about this? What will be the output if the following Python code is executed with A, B, C, A, B, C as input? Result is 1. S equals input. S equals input. Okay, so there's no output text present. That's why just input, right? Uses input, and there's no int. Therefore, we are entering this one. That's why just input there, right? If length of S is greater than 3, result is 2. What is the length of S? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If it is greater than 3, the result is 2. If length S is less than 6, it is 6 already. 6 less than 6, no. So this won't be true, right? Else if yeah, 43, of course, I didn't think of taking it because I was looking only at the Python programming, right? That is from theory. So I'll do like this. I'll take all the programming theory part separately and discuss all this, right? Right. So what's the answer for this? Why do you say 5? True. It'll print this, right? If this is true, it will print this. Else, if this is false, it will go to this one. If this is false, it will go to this one. Okay, so in order to execute this one, you need to enter this this if condition. 6 is greater than 6 is wrong. Yes, that's right. Now let's assume that this is length of s. Now what you should notice here is that these three are connected, right? If else, right? This else is part of this if. This l else in this one, which is joined with if, is part of this if, right? So suppose this is 3. 3 is less than 6. It will print this. Okay, we'll take the current value. This is 6. 6 is less than 6. Not true. So it will check whether 6 is greater than 6, which is also not true. And then it will go to this one. Right? 1 is the result. 1 means first answer. These if conditions are checked in an order, right? These if conditions are checked in an order from top to bottom. So, result is not changed. Okay. Okay, I'll tell you. Why don't you guys write this in a Python code and try it? So yeah, so you guys it's definitely not one right? Because you know this becomes true. No? 6 is greater than 3, so this becomes true. So therefore, this one will be changed. This one will be changed. Okay. So why did you guys say 5? Lucian, why did you say 5? Now, this is a perfect example of how the variable changes. And also remember, the if statements will be executed in order. And also notice that this elif and else are related to this if. And there are 2 if conditions. Okay, since the time is passing, I'll explain, right? So this is what is happening. This is what is happening, right? Okay, now you see 5 is the answer, right? Now, in order to understand what happens, let me put a print command here. Print result. Okay, let me put a print command here as well. Then Nimsara will, yeah, Nimsara will be clear with that first answer, right? Print result. Print R, right? Okay, result. Now this should be result. Okay, now you see the same variable result has changed from 1 to 2, then to 5. Okay, now I think it's clear, right? So what actually happens is it goes from top to bottom, right? Initially, at the beginning, the value of result is 1. Okay, then if 6 is greater than 3, that is true, so result will be put to 2. So that's why you get it here when you print it, right? So here result will be set to 2. Then it goes to this condition, right? If 6 is less than 6, which is not true, then it goes to else part, else if. Okay, so it has to enter this this whole if condition. Else if 6 is greater than 6, result will be 4, which is not true. Then it goes to else, and the result will be 5. So what happens is the same result variable will be changed in 3 occasions. I mean, yeah, 3 occasions. At the beginning, it will be set to 1, and since this condition is true, it will become 2, and at the end, because of this if statement, it will become 5. So the answer is 5. Okay, so good. If you got the answer 5, it's good, but always try to understand what happens, what goes on, right? Okay, and the reason behind it. Right. So what about this one? What will be the output of the following Python code? X equals 100 for I in range 1 to 5. X equals X minus I. So this will go from 1 to 4, right? It won't go up to the top value. And X equals X minus 1. So it is going to deduct whatever the value of I from 100. Okay. So at the beginning, I will be 1, then I will be 2, 3, 4. Okay, so in that this is the first loop. In the first loop, I will be deducted from 100, that is 100 minus 1, 99. Okay, and then from 99, then the next value of I 2, 97, 2 will be deducted, and in the next loop 3 will be deducted, and in the next loop 4 will be deducted. So the final value of X will be 90. Got it? Yeah, so the answer is this. Yeah, 47. What will be the output of the following Python code segment? L, that's a list. X0 for I in range, length L. Length L is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10, right? So again, you know, when they put like this, it goes from I0 to 9, right? 0 to 9 means 10 numbers. So that means it's going to take all the 10 numbers, right? If Li is less than 0, continue. If Li is greater than 10, break. And X equals X plus Li. So what is happening? I is going to take all the values from 1 to this minus 1. Now this continue is also a keyword. What's the answer? What do you think the answer is? Okay, actually, what is happening? Tell me, what is happening? It will go through each number, right? If it is a minus value, it will continue. It will just continue. Okay, without doing anything. Now remember, this continue means, now that's the tricky part here. This continue means just go through the loop one by one. This is not the increment. This is not what drives the loop. This is just adding whatever the value, right? So continue means you go to the next number, right? And if the number is greater than 10, then you exit the loop. Okay. So if it is between 0 and 10, that will be added to the total. Okay. So this will be added. This will be added. This will be added because it is between 0 and 10, right? Because less than 0 continue. No? That means 0 is included. Greater than 10 is terminated. That means 10 is included. Because when it says greater than 10, it starts with 11. So this 2 will be added. When it becomes 11, it will terminate. Answer number 4. Okay, Nimsara, it's like this. Watch again. Okay. What it says is I will start from 0 to length L. Length L is 10. No? You know, it goes one less than that, right? So 0 to 9. 0 to 9 means 10. That means all the 10 numbers will be gone through, right? Then it says if Li is less than 0, Li means whatever the value that we are looking at, right? If the value is less than 0, we will continue. Now here continue means we will go to the next number. We will continue the loop. We will go to the next number. That means this won't be executed. This line won't be executed. Just continue to the next one. If if that number is greater than 10, then it will exit the loop and print whatever the value in next. Okay, but you see that that number is not added to the total. Whatever the number which is greater than 10 is not added because as soon as we come across that, we break. Understand? Right. Okay. So Nimsara, so do you understand? If it is minus value less than 0, no, it will continue. It will continue the next one number. If it is greater than 10, it will break without adding that number to the total. Right. So now you understand what happens. So it will take whatever the value from 0 to 10 because less than 0 means minus values, right? That means 0 is included in the range. Greater than 10 means starting from 11. That means 10 is also included for this addition. So 1 will be added, right? When 2 comes, it will just continue to the next one. 4 will be added. Then 3 will be added. 2 is added. And 7, when 7 comes, it will just continue to the next one. Then when 11 is met, this becomes 2 and it will break. Okay, so it will add 1, 4, 3, 2. Yes, 3 is the answer. Good. Right? Okay, the last question, right? What will be the result when the following Python code is executed? Okay, well, first of all, let me show you that program. Yeah, this is the code for that, right? See, it is printing. I have put print command here just to check what are the numbers that it is adding. Right now you can see it is taking 1, right? Because if these two conditions are not met, it will go to this one and this one, right? So you can see 1 is printed, then 4 is printed, then 3 is printed, 2 is printed, and finally X is printed here. Got it? Right. So I'll share all these codes as well. Okay, so the last question. What will be the result when the following Python code is executed? X equals 50, def function, y is accepting one parameter, x is 2, y is 4, function x print x. What is happening here? Here we are calling the function. When we are calling the function, we are passing 50 into that. So 50 will be taken by 50 will be taken by this y. Y will take 50. But you can see that inside y is again assigned to 4. So this 50 goes and it will be 4. Okay. Right. Okay. What about others? 3 is the answer. 2 is the answer. 50 is the answer. 2 is the answer. Okay. Here, this is what you should understand at once. But you should notice at once, right? Inside this function, they are not printing the value. There's no print command inside the function. All these are outside, right? Right now, a subprogram can be a function or a procedure, right? So here, it is a procedure, and it is not printing any value inside. Then it's 50. Okay, right? And if it is a function, there's no return value, right? That means it is not returning the value of whatever x or y. It is not returning. Okay, so even though I pass 50 to this, it's not going to do anything. It's just going to replace 50 by 4, and that's it. It's not going to return, right? So this will be executed, and when it comes to x, it will take the value of x, which is here, because the x value is not changed when it comes to here, because this function is not returning any value. We are just passing that 50 to the function, and that's it. It's not doing anything, except that it is changing the value of y to 4, but it cannot be printed because it is not returning it, and it is not printing it inside either. So the answer is this.